Welcome back. The businessman and Conservative peer Lloyd Moynihan joins me now. Very successful businessman in his own right. Worth quite a lot of dosh, actually, John, if you don't mind me saying. Why are you still here? You could have left. You could have gone to Dubai. Florence is nice at this time of year, I understand, John.
Indeed.
You stuck with it.
Well, I think that's the decision every person with wealth that they've made in good ways and wants to protect that wealth, that's the decision everybody's trying to make. I took the decision, I'm in the House of Lords. I need to do whatever small amount I can do to help this country. And so leaving, wasn't an option at this point. And, so I just want to stay and suck it up.
Yeah.
Because I will be hit.
What's the worst fear that you have about Wednesday then? Because she's flirting with all sorts of things. I mean, we've had mass pitch rolling of this budget. Have you ever known anything like it?
Well, I think we're all fairly clear about what's going to happen. There's going to be a large hit on middle earners, which apparently includes, senior nurses and doctors and all of that. They're saying these are not working persons or something weird like that.
I think you're a working person if you earn up to 46 grand.
Exactly.
Which, as I've pointed out, means that the Chancellor and the Prime Minister, all MPs and ministers
they're not
aren't
working
people.
No.
You're not, I'm not, head teachers aren't, doctors aren't.
Yes.
I mean, it's just preposterous, isn't it?
Well, I'm not a working person at all because I don't take any money from being in the House of Lords, so I don't really have an income. So I probably I deserve
claim
benefits.
Extra benefits.
Oh,
yes,
absolutely,
John.
yes. But anyway, so they're going to do that. But at the same time, they're going to put out some dosh for freezing railway fares. Of course, railway fares been going up because they paid all those train drivers so much at the beginning.
Still going on strike.
So now you're making the railway companies pay a lot of money, but not get a lot of money from fares. So who's going to pay the loss? The taxpayer.
It's going to be us. But it's okay because we're not working people.
Exactly.
So middle England's going to be clobbered.
Yes.
What do we think about this mansion tax? I mean, that's the nickname for it. What she's talking about is a readjustment of council tax bands. Although I did have a correspondent, thank you to that person who contacted me in the week, having watched my GB News show last week, saying you've got to be particularly careful in the north if you're tinkering with council tax bands, because actually lower value homes end up falling into the Fs and the Gs and the Hs.
Absolutely.
Apparently. So this hasn't been very thought through, has it?
And what's more, if you get down into London, you've got people who are now retired who bought their house for a very low amount in the 70s or so. They might have paid like £10,000 or £50,000 and now it's worth $1 million. And they haven't got any income. So basically you're saying to all those people living retired in the house they bought when they were working, you're going to have to sell your house because you won't be able to afford this increased band and you're going to have to move out of where you've lived for most of your life. So there's going to be a significant migration. But here's the problem. Nobody's buying these houses.
No.
There is a complete strike on house buying in London right now.
Yes. Well, maybe train drivers can, but everybody else. But the point is as well, I was thinking about this the other day, if we've got inheritance tax also being clobbered, and we have everything that's gone on with farms and indeed inherited businesses, actually the only feasible way to solve generational wealth issues, whether you live in a mansion or whether your parents or grandparents bought their council house back in the 80s, is to pass on your home to your children.
Yes.
We hear that children aren't saving for pensions, teenagers, 20-somethings. They don't have enough spare cash, barely have enough spare cash to live. Therefore, if you're going to clobber a property, you're actually adversely affecting the young eventually. It sounds like you're affecting boomers, but you're actually affecting the generations down, aren't you?
Well, at the highest level of abstraction, if we go back, we know what you have to do to get the economy going. You have to cut what you're spending. And they have to cut their spending by about a third.
They can't do that, John, because it's mean. It's austerity.
It's mean, but more importantly, they won't get re-elected. But they're not going to get re-elected anyway. So it would be great if they could just do the nation one great big favour by really addressing these issues, rather than sort of trying to, put bonbons on a really disgusting tasting cake.
Yes.
The reason that this budget is allowed to be such a dog's dinner is because the OBR apparently are saying that the economy is going to grow faster than we thought it was going to.
Yes.
And therefore they say, oh, well, by 2029, Rachel, you're going to have lots of money so you can afford to give away money and you don't have to...
Is she going to have a lot more money?
No, of course not. The OBR has been wrong over and over again in predicting growth.
Why are we still listening to the OBR?
It's a very good question.
I thought because I get the impression from various chancellors that if the OBR says something they like the OBR.
Yes.
If the OBR says something they don't like, they want to scrap it.
Yes. The OBR has come up with this ludicrous story about how, Brexit has cost the economy 4% of GDP, which even when you read what they say, it doesn't actually say that. But then the Labour government can trumpet that and say it's not our fault, COVID, Brexit, all these things.
Liz Truss.
Liz Truss. Liz Truss, in fact, is the only person to have attempted to get it right.
But she expedited it very badly.
It was implemented very badly. But basically what happened was Liz Truss didn't have 2/3 of her own MPs with her.
No.
And the House of Commons descended into a shambles as a result.
On Liz Truss and the gilt yield issue, because I know you're an expert on this, and just roughly, without getting too granular, just for time reasons, is there much difference now with what the gilt yields are doing and borrowing under Rachel? Right. So what can we extrapolate?
They're higher, inflation's higher, everything's worse.
So everything is worse than the mini budget.
But that was Liz Truss crashed the economy then, and now it's, well, nobody's saying that Labour crashed the economy, but they have.
Have they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure that they've condemned it to a steady decline. And if the OBR is saying we're going to get more growth, I don't know what mushrooms they've been eating, but maybe we should ask for some.
Where do they think that the growth is derived from? More public sector pay increases?
Well, you do have a thing which Doug McWilliams called the flat white economy, which is a bunch of techie people around Shoreditch, London, the South, who are actually doing very well. And you can't say nothing in the British economy is going badly. The tech bros are doing quite well.
I know, but we could do with a big tech bro, couldn't we? I mean, we could do with an Apple or a Meta or whoever.
Indeed. And of course, we are encouraging companies to move abroad, to list in New York. Nobody wants to list here. If you list here, you have to have an ESG and a DEI statement saying how you're saving the weather and how you are doing equality and sustainability and all of that stuff. And you have to report to the stock exchange every year about how you're doing that. Now, if you had a company and you were thinking of listing it, or I did, and you were told, well, why don't you list in London? You can do all these wonderful things. You'd say, thanks, I'll go to New York.
Yes.
And that's what's happening.
Although the New York situation might change now that Mamdani's in charge.
Well, that's the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, I know, but then Mamdani might put people off from living in New York if, rent controls are introduced and landlords are clobbered and all the rest of it. It could be an interesting dynamic out there, is all I'm saying.
Everybody's fleeing to Florida.
Florida's the place. I thought it was Florence because of the flat rate 200 grand tax that Maloney had introduced.
People are choosing to go to Dubai, to Milan or Florence, to Monte Carlo, to Miami.
The chancellors are denying this. She says there is no exodus.
That's bizarre. Today, we announced that Mittal, Lakshmi Mittal, that Britain's richest person, is leaving the country, and that's just an example. Everybody knows lots of people who are leaving.
Okay. Final question, John. Regardless of whether you're a prince or a pauper, is there anything anyone can do to insulate themselves against the horror that may be wrought on November the 26th?
It's kind of a bit late. I mean, sell your house. If you try to sell your house, you certainly won't sell it by Wednesday, but you may not sell it at all. A lot of people are leaving just in case there is this exit tax, but I don't think there will be.
Maybe the only solution, if train fares have been frozen, is to perhaps just get a ticket to the seaside, have an ice cream and take stock. John Moynihan. Or failing that, maybe you could lend us a few bob if we're really hard up. Mm-hmm. John is looking at me with a degree of scepticism there. All right, look, obviously we will be covering the budget. It could be, by the way, that they've pitch-rolled this to make it seem so extreme and so nasty and awful that we perhaps might be pleasantly surprised on Wednesday. But of course, stay tuned to GB News throughout the week and Wednesday itself, because all of our reporters will be out giving you every cough and spit. Thank you, Lord Moynihan, very much indeed.
Thank you, Camilla.
Coming up